Fear of 666 is another thing I just can't seem to understand. I know quantities are neutral. They don't have a meaning. You know what I mean? In the Bible, and we're gonna, just for the sake of simplicity, let's say all the stuff that the church says is true. Right? Let's just say it is. Even in that instance, the idea of 666 on your hand or on your forehead is not an evil number. It's a warning. So, this is one thing, and I've struggled with it in the past, being, the irrational fear of 666. I've had to get over that irrational fear. I mean, I guess certain quantities are used in order to convey certain messages. A lot of people have an irrational culturization around the quantity of 69. When I look at 69, what do I see? I see a beautiful galaxy. I see something curled one way and something curled another way. That's what I see. I see two different aspects of a whole. It's like a yin and a yang. That's what I see. And when I look at it in a symbolic, well, not a symbolic, but when I look at it in a more, in terms of the primes, I see 23 and 3. 23 has to do with chromosomes, I think. I think we have like 23 chromosomes or something. And 3, that's the, you could think of that as the molecules, because, everything has protons, electrons, and neutrons. But what do most people think of when they think of 69? A sexual act. Why is it that everything gets ruined because of association? I can understand how a group of certain people in certain fandoms might be looked down upon, but they might be associated with certain things because there might be a large portion of their community that has a loud mouth, or maybe it's a small amount that has a loud mouth, or maybe it's just a huge amount. Either way, it doesn't really make a difference because you can't really tell the difference. And they cause a lot of things, but there is a lot of dark age fear in society that I do not like. And there's a lot of, interpretations of things that I don't think are healthy in any way, shape, or form. I mean, 69, actually, when I when I if you write 69 in base 12, it's 5 and 3, or not 5 and 3, but it's 5 and 9, because you got 5 dozen, which is 60, 5 do 9. It takes away the meaning, and then the 69 in base 12 would be 6 do 9, right? What is that, like 71 or something? No, that's not 71. That's 70 72 plus 11. That's like 83. Yeah, it's something like 83 or something like that. That's just a prime number. It's just a prime quantity. But everything gets ruined by culture, even quantities. Do you know the only difference between 1 and 666 is it's just 1 666 times? You know that, right? All numbers are just units. That's why they started out as tallies. "666 can mean bad things in the sense, I mean, here's the thing. If we take numbers and we use them as temperature, is 100 good? For some people it might be okay, but it's not really very desirable, is it? 100's not a very desirable number. What about 32? Is that a good number? No. What about 72? Yeah, that's a great number, right? Notice the context. Weather. Now, when we look at the Bible, what's the context? End of the world, right? Signs and prophecies. It might have something to do with, I do believe, there's some mysticism there that has to do with the process of someone dying, is what a lot of Revelation is. But that's just the thing. We have an extremely irrational fear in our society of things that we don't understand. I too am guilty of this and gotta overcome it, but I don't understand, because there's no rational. I mean, when it comes to mysticism, when it comes to certain things, in the Bible, when it talks about, don't eat certain things, makes sense. Certain things, don't eat it. That kind of makes sense, even if you're not a Jew, you don't agree that you should avoid pork. But does the concept kind of make sense? Doesn't that make more sense than this quantity is evil? It does. It makes sense. The idea of, marrying a certain way makes sense. Certain practical ways to live life makes sense. But we also live in this world where we got all these irrational fears. So many buildings don't have a 13th floor. Just put this into perspective. 12 is one of the most favored numbers in the world. A dozen is one of the most favored numbers anywhere. 14 is the number of pounds in a stone. When they say you're 14 stone, that means you're 196 pounds. But 13, a simple prime, is hated everywhere for no reason. It makes you wonder, if we were using another base where 7 was somehow represented with a 1 and a 3, would people hate the number 7? If we were using base 12, would the number 6 grow, 606, be evil? And the quantity that used to represent 666 no longer be evil? You know, I believe in something greater myself. I believe in some type of higher power myself, but I just cannot wrap my head around irrational beliefs. And part of my faith, part of what makes my faith so special, is that it's part of my belief that me believing in this stuff means I believe in something that ultimately must make sense and must have a clear meaning to the rational mind. I refuse to believe that me believing in these things that these ancient people were trying to teach was trying to teach me something irrational. Now that's true faith right there. It might not be true belief in what you're seeing, but it is faith in a higher possibility. That's something I just had on my mind that I don't really know how to get my head around.